Hello guys, welcome back to Design Novice. My name is Wills and I love teaching non-designers how to design. In today's episode, I'm going to be teaching you how to create the ultimate drop-down menu. Without further ado, let's head on to Figma and get it done. Let's go. Okay guys, so in today's video, I'm going to show you how to recreate a drop-down menu, a systematic way to create a standard drop-down menu. And we're just going to be creating something like this. If you take a look at this drop-down menu, you would notice that we have this select option right here, and when you click on it, it gives you these other options, right, from option 1 to option 5. And when you hover, you can see that there's a little interaction when you hover right there, and when you click on any option, the title changes to that option 3. And now when you click on option 3, you can actually see that we have a little design on option 3 showing that, okay, option 3 is being selected, and you can also hover to choose other option. So this is what we're going to recreate into this class, and I promise it's going to be exciting. So if you're ready, let's head into Figma now and start designing. Okay, so we're going to do a little bit of a planning stage right here. Okay, so the first thing we want to do is to go ahead and create our base link. Okay, so I'm just going to hit the text tool. So click on the text tool. So let's type in, let's say, menu option. Okay, menu option. Now I'm going to set this to size 16. So I'm going to set this to size 16. So for this, we're just going to use normal size 16. Okay, so go ahead and make it size 16, and I'm just going to use enter for this. Okay, for the font type, let's go ahead and choose medium. Okay, so the typeface, kindly choose enter, and for the font type, go ahead and choose medium. Okay, right here we're going to add this into an auto frame by clicking on Shift A. So Shift A right there. So we're going to call this menu option, or let's call it base menu option. Okay, so we need something we can build on. So it's always going to build things systematically so that you can always adjust things easy in the future. So here we have our base menu option. Okay, and for this I'm just going to put the 0. For our horizontal padding, let's go with 16, and then vertical padding, let's go with 16. Here we have it. And for the menu option inside, we want to go from fill, let's set it to fill container. This is so we can actually have flexibility when we are moving things around. So with this out of the way, we're going to call this base menu option. Okay, let's convert this to a component. Okay, now we've converted this to a component, so this is going to serve as the base for all our menu components. Yeah, our drop down components. Now let's go down to assets and then pick it up right there, menu option. Okay, the base menu option. So for this, I am going to reconvert this to a component. So right now I'm going to select this and I'm going to click on create component. For this, we're just going to call it menu option. Okay, so follow me guys. So we're just going to call this menu option. Now we have our base menu, so this one here controls this one. So that means if we want to make any little changes on this particular menu options, we can just come back to the base and make some of these changes, and it will reflect on all the other options. Okay, so the first thing I want us to do here on the menu option, okay, I want you to go ahead and we're going to create 4 variants. We have things like hover, we have things like on click, and we have things like on mouse leave. So these little interactions is something we're going to be creating using the menu option component. So with this selected, let's go ahead and add a variant. So this variant we're just going to call here states, right? So for this we want to go with hover, and for the hover, let's go ahead and give it style it. We just want it to look a little bit different. So let's go ahead for the menu option, the text, I want to go with let's go with this green color. Okay, let's go with this green color. Let's start 00B912. Let's go with that option there. And then for the fill, let's go with the same color but this time around I want it to be, let's click on that fill color right there, change from solid to linear. So it will help right now if you zoom in, so you can move this point right here, then move this point right here, okay, just at the beginning. Now what I want you to do is to just drag this a little bit like this. Yes, so we have that going on there. Make sure it's straight, okay. So we have that going on right there, and for this we want to reduce the opacity to 25%. Okay, that seems too much. Let's make it 50. Okay, perfect. So let's make it 50. So what we want right now is when people hover on this, we want to get this to show, right? So the next thing we want to create now, select this, add a variant. We're going to call this selected, and from here, for this we don't want any color, so I'm just going to hide it. Okay, I'm just going to hide it. Rather, what we want is a stroke. So let's go ahead and add a stroke. So for our stroke, let's make it 4. Okay, and let's put it inside, and for the color, let's still go with our green, but then we just want it on the left hand side. So let's go ahead and select this border options and then select left. So click on left, so we have it only on the left hand side. So now we're going to click this menu option again. Okay, let's just click on this. Remember we hit the color for a reason. So let's go ahead and click on the plus sign right here and reactivate back this color. And for this we are going to call it selected hover. Okay, so this is going to be selected. So what we want is when people see this and they hover on this, they see this option. Okay, now when this option is selected, we see this, and then when this selected option is hovered on, you see this. That's basically what we want to create. So to create this interaction, all what we need to do right now is to go ahead and go to the prototype panel. Okay, prototype panel, click on the menu option, drag it down to this, and for our interaction we want to go with while hovering. Okay, and for animation we want to use smart animate, and we want to use easing, and then for this we want to make it 150 milliseconds. Okay, yeah, so this now goes back to here. So here, right, it goes back to 1, but instead of while hovering we're going to say on mouse leave. That means when the user leaves that point, it goes back to there, right? Okay, for here, this is our selected active. We want it to come back here. We want it to go down there when people are hovering it, while hovering, and then this we can just leave it there, or we can just take it back anyhow you want to do it, but we might come back to, you know, to take a look at it later. So what I want to do now is to test out this option. So let's get our frame. Okay, we can just make a little frame. Let's just call this tests window. So we just want to use this to test. So let's go ahead and look for menu option. Okay, menu option assets. So you can come back to assets. Okay, go to menu option and then drop it right there. So let's select this and click on the play icon so we can actually see what's going on. Okay, so here we have it. I'm just trying to zoom in now. Okay, so you can see when I hover we have that interaction right there. When I hover we have that interaction right there. Let me see what's going on. So let's see what's going on right there. Okay, on mouse leave, while hovering mouse. Oh, we're supposed to use mouse leave, sorry, not mouse enter, mouse leave. So let's go back and then let's see what happens. Okay, great. So our interaction is obviously working. So this is what we want once we hover on the options. So right now let's go back to Figma, and here we've created these two components basically. So what we want to do now is to go ahead and build out our drop down, right? So let's do that right away. So what we want to do is to go back pick this menu option, drop it right there. Remember, this now have all the interactions. Okay, so let's go back to our design panel. I'm just going to duplicate this, and then let's call this option 1. Okay, duplicate it, option 2. So we're just going to make 4 options. So depending on how many options you want to prototype, okay, option 3, and then let's make this option 4. Now for this particular one is going to be our header. So let's take this and then let's type select option. Select option right there. Okay, so we want to make this we want to increase this. Okay, want to increase this, and then set this to fill container. The same thing here, set this to fill. Okay, set this to fill, set this to fill instead of fixed, because we want that flexibility. Fill container. So now we have this one, and for this we want this to serve as our header. So I'm going to go ahead and then right click and say detach instance. Okay, so we want to detach instance, so it should just be on its own. Let's call that header. So at this point we want to bring in some of the icons we're going to use, the directional icons. So let's go to plugins, let's get material symbol, and once you're on material symbol, I want you to scroll down, and then let's look for arrow drop down. Okay, here we are, material symbol. So let's look for arrow drop down. Okay, here we go, this arrow drop down, and this is the two we are looking for. So I'm just going to click 1, okay, and then click 2. Okay, so we have them right there. So let me move it away. So I'm just going to select the 2 of them and convert them to a component so we can easily swap them. So to do that, select the 2 of them. Okay, go to create components, click on the drop down arrow, then you want to click on create multiple components. Voila, so we have those as components. So let's go to assets right now, and then let's pick this one and let's drop it right here. So let's click on this header. Okay, and then center, and I want us to add this in an auto frame. So shift A. Okay, 0, let's make it 4 4. Okay, great, so we have it there. And for the spacing mode, go and hit on space between, because we want to maintain the space between this text and the icon. So you can see if I drag it this way, the icon follows that direction. Okay, now what we want to do is to select all these options, 1 2 3 4, add them in an auto layout. Okay, let's use 8 for the line spacing. Okay, and let's call this options. Remember to select them and make sure they are all on fill container. Right, now let's select this header and then this option and add them into another auto frame. Shift A. Now we're going to call this drop down base. Right, good. Now let us call this drop down open. Okay, great. Now I'm going to select this and then select this as well and make them fill container. The space between them, let's take it to 0. So this is what we have. So we want to have a situation, we are creating what we want to see when people click on this particular icon. So they want them to see option 1 2 4. So let's select this the options, go back to layer so you can see what you're doing. Select the option, add a fill, let's add a white fill right there, and then let's select the header and also add a white fill right there. So next thing I want to do now is to make sure I use clip content so that these contents clip to each other inside the parent container. For the corner radius, let's go ahead and make that 8. You can also make it 4 if you want. Okay, okay, I think we're good here. Okay, great. So the next thing we want to do now is to go ahead and duplicate this into 2. Okay, duplicate this into 2. Now we call this open. Let's go and edit this and call this closed. So we want one to be opened, which is this, and this one we want it to be closed, right? That's the default option. So what we want to do is to click on this option, right, on the first one that we named close. Just reduce the height and then take the height all the way to 0. So come inside here, take the height all the way to 0. So you can see we've successfully hidden this option right here by making sure the height is 0 and also making sure we clip to content. Now if you do not clip to content, you might have a little issue right there. You can see if I open up this, if I release the clip to content, I'm going to see those options just there. Okay, that's not what you want. You want to make sure you clip to content, so select clip to content. Okay, now we have our main options. We have our main option. We have option 1 and option 2. I'm going to select these two and I'm going to create a component out of them. Make sure you click on this arrow sign there and click on component set. Okay, create component set. Now we're now going to call this component drop down menu. Okay, so we have this component set right here. Under property, let's choose state. Okay, for here, for this we're just going to call it open. Okay, closed. Right, we're going to call this open. Okay, now I want us to create another option, right? So select component, click on the plus sign and then click variant. So once you click variant, we're going to see expanded and the default should be no. Then create property. So what we want to use this, we want to be able to use this to differentiate the different states of this box for each option. Okay, so let's come here, select option expanded set to no, and yes, select option expanded set to yes. So this is basically what we want to create. Now I'm just going to select this and make them and increase this. So what we want to do now is to create these different states we want to see. Okay, so select this select option, then click on the plus sign to add a variant. We're just going to move it down here. Okay, and we're going to call this option 1. Now you can see where we are going with this. Okay, we're going to duplicate this 3 more times. 1, okay, 2, okay, 3. So we're going to call this one option 2, option 3, and option 4. So just follow along. Just make sure you're understanding what we're trying to achieve. Okay, so option 1 here, option 2, option 3, option 4. But right now you can see we are getting this error here that says the properties and values of this variant are conflicting. So how do we fix that? We select option 1 and instead of close, we call it option 1. Right, we come here, call this option 2. Let's call this one option 3, and then let's call this one option 4. Okay, we want to do the same thing for this. So let's go ahead, click on the plus sign. Okay, just move it right there. Okay, so we want to also call this one option 1. Okay, let's go ahead and type option 1 right there. Okay, let's duplicate it 3 more times. 1, okay, 2, okay, 3. By the way, if you're holding down the Alt key and moving it, it's going to duplicate. And if you want it to maintain the same baseline, you can just hold down the Shift key as well. So let's go ahead and make this option 2. Okay, now remember we're using option 2, option 3, option 4 because right there in the option panel we have options. So if you have another words here, that is what you want to replace with right there. So let's also go ahead and, you know, change it up. Okay, option 1, this is option 2, and then this is option 3, and we have option 4. Great, so we are all good to go. We've created all the different states we want to see. You know, the first state, which is the select option, we have the option 1 closed state, option 2 closed state, option 3 closed state, option 4 closed state. Now we have option 1 expanded, option 2 expanded, option 3 expanded, and option 4 expanded. The last thing we need to do here is to go to each of the active option and select the active variant. So let's go to option 4 here. Instead of default, we want to choose selected. Okay, option 3 right here, instead of default, we want to choose selected. Option 2 right here, we want to go to, instead of default, we want to choose selected, and the same thing with option 1 right here. So if you made it up to this stage, congratulations. So all what we need to do right now is to go ahead and prototype this, and then we are basically done with it, guys. Okay, so here we are, we have the full component right now, but I think we need to correct this arrow. Okay, we need to correct these arrows. So let's go ahead and select these arrows. Okay, make sure you're on design. So let's go ahead and select the arrow right there, hold down shift, click, 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 and click, and we want to change it to the arrow drop up. Great, awesome. So right now let's go ahead and pick this asset right here and drop inside our test window. Okay, and if you go to our test window right now, you can see there's no interaction. And I think the text window, I just want to make it dark green. Let's go with dark green so we see exactly what we're doing. Okay, sorry, it's not the best green color out there, but let's just use it. So let's go back to our option. You can see it's not interactive right now. So let's put our first interaction. Select this, go to prototype, and let's drag it right there. Great. On click and animation, smart animate, and choose ease in and at 150 milliseconds. So let's go back to our prototype. Right now when I click, you can see it moves, it opens it moves to the expanded option right there. So you can see, and when I hover, you can see we have these subtle interactions right there. Okay, so let's just remove this from here. So let's go ahead, let's return the favor from here, drag this to this now. Okay, so here you can see we can now click, it goes back to the previous state, and when you click it also expands. So let's go ahead and complete this interaction. Okay, so what you want to do right now is to select this, come here. Okay, select this, go back, and they are all set to on click. Select this, come here. Okay, select this, go back, select this, come right here, select this and go back, select option 4, come down right there. Okay, then select this and go back right there. Now we want to select option 1, drag this to the closed version of option 1, select, drag to closed version of option 2, select option 3, select, and option 4. So let's go back again and see what we have now. So now we can close, we can open, we have these interactions right there. Now when I click on option 2, you notice that the header right there changes to option 2, but we can't do much right now, and you can see option 2 right there is what highlighted as the active selection. We can't do much right now because we've not added the interactions we need to add. So let's go back now and select this and do all the prototyping. Option 1 goes back to where option 1 closed, option 2 goes to option 2, option 3 goes to option 3, option 4 goes to option 4. So I'm just going to quickly do this. So you want to take this back to option 1, option 2, we'll take this to option 3, okay, want to take this to option 4, we come down here to option 3, we want to take this to option 1. So you have to be careful so you don't make mistakes, okay. Always and also learn to always test out your prototype before you go ahead to round up. So always make sure as you're designing and prototyping, you are also testing it and seeing what's going on. Okay, so here we go. So right now we are complete with we are fully done with the prototyping. Let's go back to our test. Right now, if we hover now, we can get those interaction, and when we click on option 4, we have it right there. And then from option 4, we can easily go to option 1, option 2, option 3, and option 4. And basically, this is how you create a drop-down menu effect in Figma. Okay, now let me show you why we did this procedurally. Okay, let me move this. Let's go back to design. Let me move this right here. So you can see we created this basically using 3 components. Now let's assume we wanted to use this another way. Maybe we wanted these options to have, you know, unique set of icons. Okay, the reason why we did this is so that we can easily add icons if need be in the future. Now let's assume I wanted an icon option right here for all the options. All what I need to do is to go back to my base menu. Okay, now let's go back to my base menu and let's go down to material symbol. Okay, now I'm just going to pick an icon right here. Let's just search for menu. Okay, so let's just pick this. Let's drop this right here. Okay, so let's drop this right here. Let's assume we wanted an icon for each of these options. All I need to do right now is to drag this icon right inside this, and you can see automatically we have icons. If you come back here, we have icons, and then you can go ahead and change this icon however you see fit. We can increase the spacing to be 4. Right now we have icons. Now if in the future I wanted to change the fonts, okay, all I need to do is to select this and then make my fonts maybe Poppins, okay, and automatically they all switch to Poppins. So this is why you want to design things procedurally. Okay, so let's go ahead and hide this icon back. I can basically hide it, go back to layer, and then I can hide this. Now we have our items back. So we have like a single source where we are manipulating the base component, and then we are also effecting those changes automatically on the other variations. So this is why we created this parent component at first. Okay guys, so that's how to create a drop down menu right in Figma. You can see this is a full component, if a complete component is a full drop down component with all the interactions added. And if you made it to this stage, congratulations, you've just learned how to design a professional drop down menu. See you next time, and bye bye.